let's kick things off on this final Friday of 2013 with our Redskins analyst, Trevor Matich, who is, he's here to talk about the last game of the season. It's usually kind of a sad thing, but I think most Redskins are happy to see this season over with. Trevor Matich, we had high hopes for this last game of the season against the Giants. A lot of people predicted that these two teams would be vying for first place. Instead, well, not so much.
No, they're vying for not even last place. The Redskins have locked that one up.
At least we locked that in a while ago.
Yeah, and so all the Redskins are really playing for at this point from a practical standpoint. I mean, talk about pride and all that stuff. That's all well and good. But they're playing for whether or not the Los Angeles Rams might get the first pick in the draft.
Yeah, and so now let's talk about that for a second. What's the psychology there? I mean, in a weird way, it would be better for the Redskins to lose this game, right?
Well, they won't get, right now it's between the Redskins and the Houston Texans, really, as to who gets the first pick in the draft. The Redskins will be no more than fourth pick in the draft, but that's been traded away for RG3, so the Rams will have that. It's the last pick in the blockbuster trade. But what it would do is give the Redskins a higher second round pick if they lose. Now, they're not playing to lose, but this is sort of it's the best thing you can say about this game is that winning the game will at least give them, instead of a horribly heinous sour taste in their mouth going into the off season, it would merely be a putrid rotten taste in their mouth. So there's your choices.
Wow. What do you think's next for them, for the Redskins? How come? My question is, as someone who doesn't follow football as religiously as others, if they do so poorly every year, they should be getting the best picks, for new players. Why isn't the team improving? Why aren't they winning more games?
Yeah, let's explain to everybody why the draft pick went to the Rams and everything.
Yeah, what happened was the Redskins have been a long time since they've had what they would consider a franchise quarterback, and I think it would go back to the first Joe Gibbs era and the Super Bowl wins. Since then, they've had John Freese, Gus Frerotte, Heath Shuler, and they just haven't had that quarterback that they could hang their hat on long term.
Well, RG3 he's kind of the guy,
so
yeah.
That's why I think they said, okay, this is one thing we need to rectify. Mm-hmm. And so they saw RG3 and Andrew Luck sitting there in the college draft. And the Redskins knew that they would have to go up to at least number 2 because they figured those two guys would go 1 and 2 in the draft, and they did. The Redskins made the trade with the Rams, who had the second pick in the draft that year, a couple of years ago, and they got RG3. They got their quarterback that they want for the future. He had a spectacular rookie season last year. This year, not so much. There have been a whole big bunch of things that happened, the most telling of which is coming back early from an ACL injury,
right,
a knee injury, and everything just went downhill from there. And there were other factors as well that led to the Redskins' season being really bad, but sort of the poster for the whole thing has been RG3 and his knee and his struggles to return to his rookie form.
Yeah. And so, and to get RG3, they had to give away all of these draft picks, so that's why.
Yes, they traded 4 picks, 3 number 1s and a number 2.
Right.
One of those number 1s was just switching picks with the Rams, and so really it was 3 players. It was two number 1 draft choices and a high number 2 draft choice in return for RG3.
And it looked great at the end of last season because RG3 in his rookie year got us to the playoffs, won the division, but now here we are. It would be nice to have 1 or 2 of those picks right now, wouldn't it, Trevor Matich?
Well, it would be exceptionally nice. But at the same time, looking at it from the long view, RG3 still has a tremendous amount of talent, and if he turns out to be that franchise quarterback, even if it takes him a couple of years to get up to speed, then you still have what's considered to be worth it. Because when you look at Super Bowl champions in the last decade or more, this has become a passing league. The league has changed the rules to limit what defenders can do to receivers and how they can hit quarterbacks, which has made it more of a quarterback-friendly passing league. That makes it more exciting for fans to watch because you see more scoring and the big stars get to make more plays. Defensive players hate it, but I don't care what they think.
Yeah.
It's better for the league. And so you need to have that guy. And so if RG3 ends up being that guy, then it'll still be worth the trade.
Well, RG3 will not be playing this Sunday, of course, against the Giants up in New York. We're going to have Kirk Cousins, who will finish up the season. And, I had mentioned to you a few weeks ago, maybe Kirk Cousins, by having this showcase here during December, he might be a good trade bait for a team who could use a quarterback like Kirk Cousins. You sort of dismissed that suggestion, but it looked like Coach Shanahan alluded to that earlier this week. Did you see those comments?
Sure. Oh, yeah, and they may still do that. I mean, they got him with a fourth-round pick, and that's one of the reasons they took Kirk Cousins in the fourth round when they took RG3 with the second pick of the first round, was that he was a guy that a lot of NFL teams had a much higher score than a fourth-round pick. A lot of teams had him at a late number 2 or an early number 3. And so the Redskins grabbed him thinking they had some value there, and I thought that was a smart pick. Now, if they trade him away, good. They'll get a draft pick, probably anywhere from a second to a third pick, so they'll increase the value from Cousins. But then they'll have to replace him as a backup. But you can do that. There's talk that one of the reasons they want to trade him, should they trade him, is that they want to get him out of the way because fans talk about wanting him over RG3, and that's not good for RG3's development. Well, I think that's kind of insane. I think pushing RG3 is the guy. Cousins will never beat him out here
right,
as long as RG3 is healthy and not completely melted down. But I think competition and being pushed is also a good thing. So, and more importantly, having a quality backup is an important thing. So, but if you can get a second or third round pick, it's positive. And here's why. Always remember this. One of the reasons that the Redskins traded away those draft picks for RG3 was that they knew that over the next 2 years they would have between $30 and $40 million worth of salary cap space to be able to sign free agents to replace those missing draft picks. But that cap space was taken away when the NFL penalized the Redskins, all of that cap space, for doing some crazy stuff in the front office. And so instead of having RG3 and free agents, they have RG3 and no free agents and no draft picks.
How come so often we talk about the Redskins, it doesn't have much to do about football? It has to do with all this front office stuff.
The drama.
It's all drama. And right now what happens to Mike Shanahan will be drama. He believes that he'll know very quickly after the Giants game what his fate will be.
Do you agree? So, do you think there's going to be some sort of announcement, either a sign of support from Snyder or Shanahan's on his way out right after the game?
I think Snyder could make whatever he decides to do with Mike Shanahan, I think is the right decision. I think with Kyle Shanahan, the offensive coordinator and the head coach's son, there needs to be a change there because ultimately, whoever's fault it is that there's been so much friction between RG3 and Kyle Shanahan, doesn't matter at this point.
All right.
What matters is going forward, they need to have a coach that will nurture him.
Trevor, thanks so much, as always. Enjoy all the college football this weekend, too. I am pumped. I can't wait. Any prediction? Our Maryland Terrapins are playing in the Military Bowl today against Marshall. What do you think?
Well, Marshall's a tough team, but C.J. Brown, the Terp quarterback, is one of the tough warriors in college football, and I think they have a good chance.
All right. Listen, enjoy all the bowl games, and we will talk to you on Monday. We'll talk about what happened with the Giants versus Redskins this Sunday.
All right. Here we go.
Thank you, Trevor Matich.